Okay, we are now live. Welcome to the town board meeting, workshop meeting, Thursday, October 7, 2021. Roll, please.
Supervisor Perotti,
Here.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Here.
Gutierrez,
Here.
Morris,
Here.
Moji,
Here.
Okay, supervisors report.
public comment.
You want to do public comment?
I received one at 2:30 this afternoon via email.
Well, you can read it now if you want.
Greetings, my name is Daniel Donnelly, resident at 15 Old North Road here in Amenia. I write in opposition to the resolution to the local law opting out of the marijuana law. This statement is submitted on behalf of my household as a town resident, but also my capacity as Dutchess County Libertarian Party Chair. In full disclosure, personally, I do not consume cannabis, but I can assure you, without even knowing you all well, that there are already surrounding by people who do. They are educators, artists, artisans, business, tradesmen, farmers, athletes, attorneys, clergy, and even law enforcement. There are neighbors and relatives, yet you may be unaware of the cannabis consumption because it makes them no less productive than any other person. For Amenia, close to its doors to the option of recreational cannabis would only be stigmatized these residents by making them feel that they have to go elsewhere to partake in the market of the shameful indulgence, which is not. A vote against the present resolution would make Amenia more inclusive for those residents who belong to the myriad of social political constituents. There have been undue alarmisms about what Amenia if voters to opt into recreational cannabis. You may recall Darlene Weimer's written testimony submitted on September 2nd's board meeting, which recounted the anecdote of two inebriated people who addressed the town board, which Ms. Weimer attributes to cannabis. This insultation, of course, is that the occurrence will be a commonplace, but this is false. There is a logical equivalent to pointing to the drunk who overslept the work shift as a representative of the millions of peoples from every walk of life who consume alcohol responsibly on any given day, causing no harm to themselves or others. We are just 45 minutes from Great Barrington, a jurisdiction which has authorized recreational cannabis long ago. The short trip to the Berkshires would reveal that recreational cannabis does not lead to zombie eclipse. Unfamiliar as I am with the cannabis market, I am unqualified to say how lucrative this industry would be in our town, but this much is I am certain. Amenia's adult residents deserve the dignity of making their own choices about what they consume and where. If the dispensary opens here, maybe there is insufficient marketplace to support it where it goes out of business, but at least this scenario, the town board is not unworthy residents telling them that they have no right to open or patronize establishment within our town. In conclusion, attached as a statement is a petition which I've circulated to the constituents and neighbors alike. Please know the number of signatures collected is a small fraction of those who contacted me directly, pledging opposition to this resolution, but who were unavailable to sign thus far. These are all voting residents who confidence you will lose by voting in this favor of this resolution. And attached to this public comment, there's 4 pages, each would have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Can't hear you very well.
20, 21, 22, 23, 24, approximately 25 signatures of those who have signed a petition. We, the undersigned, as voting residents in Amenia and Wausau, do hereby favor the township to opt into the program for recreational cannabis. We reject the notion that government has a greater stake in our own health and safety of individuals. As such, we demand a right to make our own choices regarding cannabis consumption. So there's approximately 25 signatures of our residents that's attached to his public comment. And that's going to go to each now an email. And that's the only public comment that I've received in writing prior to tonight's meeting.
Okay, thank you. Supervisors report. Water district upgrade. The capital plan and asset inventory has been given to the town board for review. Altice negotiations are in progress. American Rescue Package for non-entitlement units of government, which is the town of Amenia. The report will now be due on April 30th, 2022, and will cover the period between award date and March 31st, 2022. This is a change from the previously communicated October 31st, 2021 due date for the NEU project and expenditure report. Highway garage. The town board is considering signing a contract with Crawford and Associates, who did not send a bid on the highway garage RFP, but have experience doing engineering services for highway garages, to review and grade the 11 bids received for highway garage and salt shed, engineering services for meeting criteria in the RFP and cost in order to assist the town board in making the right decision. CDBG sidewalk grant. The post office sidewalk repairs are complete and are waiting for DOT and Dutchess County Planning to inspect the work. 2022 budget. The 2022 tentative budget was given to the town clerk on September 30th. Budget meeting will be decided at the town board meeting. New website. Please send website recommendations to administrators Annette Culligan or Nancy Nowak. They can also be sent to the supervisor. Town of Amenia COVID-19. Amenia Town Hall is open for business Monday through Thursday at regular business hours by appointment only. Masks are required. Masks are available in an envelope on the second set of doors. Mask and social distancing are recommended for committee, board, and commission in-person meetings. Signing the visitor log with contact information is required. COVID-19 vaccine information. Call the Dutchess County Coronavirus Information Line at 845-486-3555. For anyone who is homebound, vaccine appointments can be made at 845-486-2555. Dutchess County Immunization Clinic, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. COVID-19 vaccines available for individuals at the Family Partnership Center, 29 North Hamilton Street, Poughkeepsie. Call for appointments, 845-486-3409 or 845-486-3533. Poughkeepsie Galleria, the former JCPenney site, COVID-19 vaccines available, walk-ins are welcome. Free COVID-19 testing locations. Poughkeepsie Galleria, JCPenney site, Tuesdays beginning September 14th, 3 through 7, and Saturday, September 18th, 9 to noon. CVS Plaza Dover, Thursday beginning September 16th, 3 to 7. Online registration or walk-in. Town clerk report.
Good evening. I begin tonight's report that the monthly share for September was $607.95 being remitted to the supervisor, and our total share is $733.95. I've received a request from the WASAC project. Jeff Burnett Lindsay reached out to me. I directed him to our highway superintendent, and our highway superintendent has provided to us the certificate and notice to close the highway road. So it looks like there's going to be an event down in WASAC, closing the sections of the highway from Route 22 to 37 Furnace Bank Road in WASAC. This is for the Halloween festival that's going to include trick-or-treating for our little kids. The event is going to be on October 30th from 3 p.m. until 10 p.m. So I do have that notice and certificate that I circulated to each of you prior to the meeting, signed by our highway super. Also did acknowledge, as Supervisor Prodi did announce earlier this evening, that the tentative budget was received and circulated to each of the board members. We also have, I circulated prior 2 volunteer applications for an internet and broadband. I know earlier this year we did receive our first one, and now this is number 2 and number 3. I didn't know if you wanted me to schedule interviews with them, or you're going to create this new committee, or the action that the board wishes to take with this. This is something for you to discuss. I don't know if you want to do it now or later. Okay.
Or we can.
Just on this topic, I think it would be a great idea to have a new committee. I think what we should do as a town board is either poll some of our surrounding towns. I know Pine Plains is a very active broadband committee. Some of the towns over in Connecticut do as well. But we shouldn't just create a committee without a mandate or a purpose. And I think what we should do as a town board is determine what the sort of mandate and scope of the activities of this new committee would be, and then talk about forming that committee.
I agree with you, Damien.
So just keep me posted on how you'd like to move forward, and I will let them know. I will acknowledge that we've received it and that we would be in contact with them.
So I'll take the action. I've sat in on the Pine Plains Broadband Committee meetings a few times. What I'll do is I'll request the committee guidelines from that town. If you guys think that's a good idea, I can reach out and make that happen.
That's fine with me, Damien.
Sure, why not? Go ahead.
Fine.
Also circulated and acknowledging the reports for September was the building report, as well as the monthly water. So to read aloud that for the month of September, in building department, they received $32,614, and that there were no violations issued during the month of September. And for our water report for September, on the top, it does indicate what our gallons used. So for September was 1,754,900. He does also earmark out for each of you to note the water lines that he's had to do, any emergency responses and repairs he's done, and other projects he's worked on. So those are the two department reports that we've received. And to end this evening's report, Amenia Fire Company's back at it. They're having another chicken barbecue. It's going to be held on October 23rd. It is, again, the same as before, takeout only. I'm sorry, Mike, it's not like you're here to zoom in for me.
I see it.
You see it? So Amenia's chicken dinner barbecue. It's $16 a ticket. Go ahead and give a call to area code 845-418-6833, or you can stop here in the town clerk's office. I do have tickets available for sale. That's it. And Supervisor, you're starting with resolution number 50 this evening. 50.
50?
50.
This is the resolution introducing local law opting out of the marijuana law. I'd like to explain that the way the regulations for the marijuana law are, if we do nothing, we are automatically opt-in, which means we can, say that we can have dispensaries and lounges. If we opt out now, and the law's in place by December 31st, we can also have the option of opting in at a later date if that's what we want. But if we don't do anything, we're automatically opt in and we can never opt out. So this gives the town board more options. And we'll be setting a public hearing where people can voice their opinion.
Can I just add to that really quickly, Victoria? Not that I'm going to suggest we do not take this vote. I just want to clarify something. So we can opt out now, and if we do so, we could theoretically opt in later. However, the state intends to issue a fixed number of licenses, so roughly 700 and change or whatever. And there's no current timeline, and Ian, jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no current timeline or guidance on when or if they will distribute more licenses after that. So although it's accurate to say that we could opt in later, in practice, it may be irrelevant because the licenses may have all been distributed. So that's the only point of clarification that I wanted to make. And just, again, I'm not trying to derail the vote here. We should do it. But I did want to respond to the public comment a little bit, if I could take 5 minutes. I didn't remember the gentleman's name, Dawn Marie, so I don't know if you still...
It's Daniel Donnelly.
Daniel Donnelly. Okay, so Mr. Donnelly's comment he made two that I wanted to address. One was that he didn't feel it was government's business to be deciding health decisions. I personally don't agree with that, but I do want to say that specific to this marijuana law, I want to make it clear to everybody that New York State has made recreational use legal. And so nothing we do as a town board will make recreational use in the town of Amenia illegal, right? So what we're really talking about today is just retail. And there is a revenue component to that. And that was another thing that Mr. Donnelly mentioned. He said he couldn't speak to the economics of it. So just really quickly on the economics, the way the state law is set up, there's a 13% tax on all retail. 9% goes to the state. 4% goes to the locale.
To the county.
The county as well.
Yeah,
No, the county gets 4%.
No, that's not. It's the county doesn't.
The county gets 2 and we get 2. I think that's how it is.
Right. We split it with the county, correct. But so just to put that into perspective, the gentleman also mentioned Great Barrington, and I have had some conversations with some of the electeds up there. Just again, and I mentioned this on our last discussion on the topic, I don't have a current stance here, but I am very willing to listen to and entertain perspectives by the community here. So I did a little research, and I haven't verified these numbers with the retailer, but what I've been told is that Theory Wellness, which is one of the dispensaries in Great Barrington, in their first year of operation, they did $30 million in revenue. At 4% of $30 million is $1.2 million that would be split between the county and the town. As you guys know, our entire collections from property tax, assuming that we would get half of that 1.2 million, 600,000, that's roughly the majority of what we would collect typically in a typical year from property taxes. So I want to make it just very clear to my colleagues here that there is a significant revenue component to this. It's not a couple of dollars here or a couple, what we're seeing from our neighboring municipalities that have gone down this path already. And again, nothing we do today or in the future will make it illegal in this town. It will still be legal regardless of any action we take. All we're talking about is the ability to have a retail presence and the associated revenue from that. So, we can proceed with the resolution. And I think that if there's anybody out there, like the gentleman who made public comment today, who feels very strongly about this issue, that I would recommend that you come and attend the public hearing that we will have on this topic. And we as the town board at that point can decide whether to move this forward or not. So what we're doing today is to have the public hearing.
We're introducing the local law that's required by the state to be in place by December 31st.
Right, which requires a public hearing, and we have the right to amend that if we determine to do so. We can not pass it, right? Is that correct, Ian?
Yes, so if there is, after the public comment, the town chooses to make amendments of any real substantive change, then we would have to relay the law desk of the town board members and set it for a further public hearing.
Great. So again, just commentary to the public. If you guys feel strongly about this, your opportunity to speak on this issue will be at that public hearing, and we as the town board can react to that if we choose to do so by consensus. Again, just using these numbers as a reference point, if we had a retailer in town that was doing 30 million a year and our cut was 4% that we split with the county, our entire town budget last year was what, 1.2 million roughly, including highway, Victoria? You know,
Yes,
so
but
that was-
there's no guarantee that we'll be awarded a dispensary.
Of course, absolutely. There is no guarantee that we would get a license, and there's no guarantee that there would ever be a retailer in the town of Amenia. But by opting out, there is a guarantee that we can't participate in that. So that's the background I wanted to give.
But we can eventually if we change.
Again, I think that that's not very. I don't think that that's a very sincere perspective. I don't mean, maybe sincere is not the right word, but I don't think it's a very pragmatic assessment of it, just given that the state has indicated there's going to be a finite number of licenses and they're going to award them all next year. So there may not be another opportunity. There might not be another bite at this apple. That's what I'm getting at.
But there also may be. That's why we're opting out and so that we would have the option of opting in if we so choose later. But the way the law states, you can't, we're kind of limited. Okay, resolution introducing local law number X, because we won't know. Dawn, is that correct? Of 2021, opting out of licensing and establishment of cannabis retail dispensaries and on-site consumption sites within the town of Amenia. Whereas on March 31st, 2021, Governor Andrew Cuomo signed the Marijuana Regulation Taxation Act, MRTA, legalizing adult use cannabis in New York State, whereas MRTA created a whole new area law, the cannabis law, which authorizes municipalities to adopt local laws opting out of the licensing and establishment of retail dispensaries and on-site consumption sites within the town's jurisdiction, which would otherwise be permitted under the cannabis law. Whereas the town board of the town of Amenia has determined, after examination of MRTA, to adopt a local law opting out of the state statute authorizing towns to permit licensing and establishment of on-site cannabis consumption sites, thereby prohibiting such establishments within the town of Amenia. Whereas the board of the town of Amenia has considered the provisions of Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law, seeker, and the regulations adopted thereunder at 6 NY CRR Part 617, and finds this local law to be a type 2 action as defined therein, and therefore no further review is required under seeker. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein. The town board hereby introduces adoption of local law number X of 2021, opting out of the licensing and establishment of retail cannabis dispensaries and on-site consumption sites within the town of Amenia in the form annexed hereto. The town board hereby schedules a public hearing on the proposed adoption of local law number X of the year 2021, opting out of the licensing and establishment of retail cannabis dispensaries and on-site consumption sites within the town of Amenia, to be held at Town Hall, 4988 Route 22, Amenia, New York, 12501 on the 4th day of November 2021 at 7 p.m. And the town clerk is hereby directed to post and publish notice of the public hearing in the form annexed to. And I make that motion?
I second it.
Supervisor Party,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
No.
Morris,
Yes,
Emoji,
Yes.
Resolution number 51. Okay, we had an issue with the monitoring equipment for fuel leak. And our water operator, Marco, and actually got estimates for her. I believe we had two bids from two different companies. So we are going to choose the less expensive of the bids in order to become compliant with the DEC. Resolution ratifying emergency replacement of the leak detection system for the underground oil tank located at Town Hall. Whereas the town of Amenia is the owner of certain real property located in the town of Amenia, New York, identified as tax grid number 716709196542. Whereas the primary structure in the premises at Town Hall for the town of Amenia, whereas the heating system for the town hall is fueled by an underground storage tank. Whereas the tank has a leak detection system which monitors, among other things, the volume of oil in the underground tank, water levels in the system, maintains all records of these levels to determine if there are any potential leaks. Whereas pursuant to the town supervisor's request, an inspection of the system was conducted by Marco D'Antonio, president of SCBI Environmental Services Engineering Consulting, which revealed that the current leak detection system is no longer properly functioning. Whereas Marco D'Antonio has recommended the town supervisor that emergency measures be performed to replace the leak detection system. Whereas Marco D'Antonio has advised the town supervisor there are currently only 2 manufacturers for the leak detection system suitable to the town's underground storage tank, which are OMN Elmtech, the manager of the current system, and Veeder-Root. Whereas Marco D'Antonio has obtained written proposals from 4 different installers of the leak detection systems, which are as follows. ECMC LLC. The quote was $10,289. The Veeder-Root quote was $15,289. Northeast Petroleum Technologies was $14,640 and $18,568. There are 2 separate quotes because one mirrors a system that we have, and the other one is a more expensive system they have. Hydrovac Excavating, $13,667 and $18,000. WCC Tank Technology, $12,580, $17,345. Whereas by email dated September 24, 2021, Marco D'Antonio recommended the town accept the lowest responsible bid from ECMC LLC for the installation of the Omtech leak detection system in the amount of $10,289. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. Recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as it fully set forth and adopted herein. Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby declares pursuant to Section 103, General Municipal Law of the State of New York and the town's procurement policy, that the improper functioning of the leak detection system for the underground storage tank located on town property is a public emergency, and that the Town of Amenia procurement policy is hereby suspended for the purposes of making such emergency repairs to the leak detection system. The Town Board hereby ratifies and confirms the actions of Supervisor Victoria Perotti employing the services of ECMC LLC to replace the current leak detection system with a new tech system pursuant to the terms and conditions set forth in the annexed proposal. The Town Board hereby authorizes the following town officers and employees and our professionals to take the necessary steps to coordinate or whatever repair work is required to replace the leak detection system. Town supervisor, town building inspector, code enforcement officer, town clerk, and attorney to the town. The Town Board authorizes the payment for such repairs from the building maintenance CE budget line number 162010062.0 in accordance with the ECMC LLC proposal annexed here too. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Discussion. Victoria, one quick question. Can you give a little background on how it was determined that there was an issue with the current system?
Well, John, one of the responsibilities of John Scott when he was here as maintenance person was to check this system and actually record the amounts on the monitoring system. And since he left, I asked building inspector to do it. And I've been meeting monthly with Marco, and he was concerned about it because it's, DEC, it's DEC responsibilities to make sure everything is being done the way it should. They actually do an inspection once a year. So he went and checked the equipment, found it wasn't working, and then proceeded from there. So he is, since he is familiar with this equipment, knows how it's supposed to work, he's going to be the one who's going to be checking and making sure that everything's recorded that should be recorded from now on.
Do we have a budget number that we can expect to have his, what is the cost of his oversight of this system?
It would be into, for him to actually contact all the companies, get all the quotes, look at the equipment, see exactly what we needed. We received a bill for $500 for that, but I'm not sure, what it would be going forward, because it's, we need to have somebody overseeing this, and we haven't. It's either we hire a maintenance person to come in and do all the things that used to be done here, or have a professional person do it, and that would be him.
I thought you had talked about a service contract that a company had offered to provide this service.
No, they haven't.
Is there, VRI? Are there other companies out there who, could put in a bid so that we get a sense of what a typical cost would be for maintaining this system? I'm imagining, there's a wide range of,
Who would you have bid?
I don't know that much about it. I know enough about my own boiler. I have a service contract, but I'm sure that there's all kinds of companies like Marco's that's out there doing, this guy who we just interviewed for the building inspector position knows all about plumbing. I mean, plumbing is what he did.
This isn't plumbing.
Heating and plumbing. So I don't know.
This isn't heating either.
Have you looked? You know that for sure, that there's nobody else out there who does this kind of work.
Am I sure? No. Right now, I want to get us compliant so that we don't end up being fined.
Right. So we're paying him the $500 to do the oversight that's needed to.
No, we paid him to do all the groundwork, to get all the bids, to see who actually sells it.
So that was an hourly rate that he charged us?
It was a rate he charged us for doing all the groundwork and everything and seeing that was there.
And what is that hourly rate?
I don't know.
I see. So I would not be willing to just do this without knowing what the hourly charge is going to be, or what the parameters, what he recommends.
The only thing we are doing with this resolution is to replace the equipment. We're not going any farther than that. There's a lead time. I don't even know when we're going to be able to get it.
A lead time for what?
To order it. It isn't something you get overnight.
Yeah.
I just want to get the equipment in place. Who's going to monitor it after that? We can talk about it, but it's got to get here and get installed first.
Great.
Roll.
Supervisor Perotti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez,
Yes.
Councilman Morris,
Yes,
Councilwoman Smogy.
Yes.
Okay, the next resolution was to accept payment in lieu of workplace housing. We're going to have to table that because even though Silo Ridge has authorized the check, there are people who cut the checks are out of state and the check won't be here until next week. And we have to schedule a budget meeting anyway. So hopefully when the check's there, we can go ahead and pass the resolution, accept the check, put it in the bank. But the check isn't here yet. So
Why do we have to wait for a check to be written? Why don't we just do it and they?
Because
I don't understand that. You know, we pass the resolution and they pay it when they've got the person in, you know, there to write the check.
they already authorized the check. It just isn't here yet.
So why don't we just go ahead and pass the resolution? It's here on our agenda. I don't understand why we wouldn't just pass it.
Because it says the resolution is for receiving the check.
Yeah, it's a check. So
Go ahead, Ian, you can
Yeah,
talk to us about that.
the check's not here. The resolution is accepting the check. Until we have the check, you should probably table the resolution until we actually have the check and we can do the resolution accepting the check. Right now, we're doing a resolution accepting a check we may or may not get. Presumably, we'll get it. Not any issue or problem, but the check to accept the resolution.
There's actual language in here saying that we've accepted a check.
It says.
Yes.
Yes, the town board hereby acknowledges receipt and accepts payment.
Oh, that's odd. Okay.
No, it's not odd. It's what you do when you receive payment.
Okay.
So the check's coming.
Checks in the mail.
Well, however they're getting it here. We're at 52.
Yes.
This is the resolution authorizing Crawford and Associates Engineering PC to assist the town of Amenia in reviewing the engineering proposals for the new highway garage in Salt Shed. Whereas the town board of the town of Amenia saw proposals from engineering firms to develop a design plan for proposed new public works facility on newly acquired town property, which will include the construction of a highway garage and a salt storage facility. Whereas the town board of the town of Amenia prepared a request for proposals for engineering services from qualified professional engineering firm to provide design and construction plans, specifications and cost estimates to assist with secret review, to provide construction support and associated contract administration inspection services as necessary for the proposed construction of a new highway garage and salt storage facility using leadership in energy and environmental design or LEED certified building methods. Whereas the town clerk of the town of Amenia received 11 responses to the request for proposals. Whereas the town board of the town of Amenia is seeking to retain the services of Crawford and Associates Engineering PC to assist the town with a review of the engineering proposals, which will allow the town to select a proposal that most closely meets the qualifications and expectations of the town board as set forth in the RFP. Whereas this is a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, and therefore is not subject to review under seeker. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the recitations set forth are incorporated in this resolution as it fully set forth, adopted herein. The town board of the town of Amenia hereby approves the proposal of Crawford and Associates to assist the town in reviewing the design proposals for the new highway garage and salt shed, which will allow the town to select the lowest qualified builder that meets the qualification expectations described in the RFP. The town board of the town of Amenia hereby authorize the town supervisor to execute the proposal for professional engineering services and next tier two for a fee not to exceed $3,500, which will be paid from the engineering CE budget line 14404.01. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Go ahead.
The resolution limits the amount to $3,500, but the proposed contract doesn't talk about that. Just talks about time and materials.
They sent a new contract.
I also only saw the time and materials contract. Apologies if I missed it, but
Ian, they sent another contract, or how
They
did they?
did? And they limited to $3,500?
That was
Yes.
a that we had. So they're going to bill hourly, and with the idea that the cap to that. The town board wants to have that cap written into that contract, then we can do certainly.
I want it written into the contract, yes.
Yeah, I can do that. I can email to. There was other revisions to the contract that so the one you have buys for other provisions taken out. So I can have a cap put in my email tonight. Donna Verna.
Yeah, I thought she sent something to you, didn't she?
It was there was revisions to the contract that were sent because there were provisions in there that were not appropriate for a municipality, so they were
But
removed.
where is that contract?
That's what was attached.
Oh, what was attached? Okay, but it is $3,500.
3,500, the number, yes, but that was discussed. Yeah, but
As
yeah, look, I mean, so
long as it's in there,
I'll
Sorry.
have her put it in. No problem.
okay, all right.
So Jim, I don't know if this would, allow us to pass this and get this moving tonight, but regardless of whether there's a cap in their contract, we won't pay them any more than the cap that's in this resolution without us having further authorization of any additional expenditure. So,
Yeah, but I don't want to have a lawsuit, or I don't want to have any misunderstandings, Damien.
That's
So-
No, they
It's in the
understand
contract, it's good.
perfectly. That's the cap and that's all,
yeah,
that there's a cap to their charges.
I'm 100% with you. I mean, that was the two requests that I had made in my email when we were discussing this was that we limit the budget to this to whatever was in the engineering line, and we try to encourage them to get their hourly billing to average out what we pay our current engineer, because we're basically not using the engineer we have on retainer for this. And we're using
We're not using him because he has zero experience with highway garage, which
yeah,
is
all good.
why I
Right.
even offered.
Totally understand, and he also agrees with that, is my understanding. But I'm just saying that we authorized at the beginning of the year, we authorized the use of John Andrews Engineering Services at that rate, at his rate. And so now, to make this sort of compliant with that authorization at the beginning of the year, I was just trying to get it to match up and be roughly the same hourly cost. But the cap also works if they're willing to do that.
The initial contract came out of, and it was initially I brought up with her right away. I discussed with Donna specifically what they thought the number would be. That's how.
And you're breaking up. I can't get
I'm
every
sorry.
word you're saying.
I'm sorry.
breaking
I've had terrible reception. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The initial contract had no outside number to it. It was an issue I brought up with them immediately. Damien seconded the idea after I spoke to them about it. And I spoke to the supervisor about it. So contacted Donna, spoke with Donna about a number, and 3,500 was the number. So that's what they're anticipating. That's what went solution. There's no problem with getting it into the contract, and I can do that. I'll send her an email tonight before
And
I
then
leave.
just send it to everybody. Because that's the only one I'm going to sign, is if that's in it.
Correct.
Okay, good. All right, that'll be fine.
Okay. Supervisor Prodi,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle.
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes,
Smoji.
Yes.
Okay, we need to set a tentative budget review meeting date and time next week, because it has, next budget is the preliminary budget, and that has to be turned into the town clerk by October 15th.
Okay.
So what works for everybody? And we
Monday
can
does
start,
not work for me.
and we can start at any time you want.
Tuesday or Friday work for me.
Vicki?
That's fine. Tuesday would work, and Friday, obviously after 5 would be ideal, or 5:30.
But Tuesday would work?
Tuesday, yes.
They both work for me too.
And for me, Tuesday and Friday for me also.
Well, it has to be turned into the town clerk by Friday. So
So it'll be Tuesday.
if Tuesday works for everybody, then, and then I'd also like to know if you want to do this on a Zoom call, or do you want to meet in person to go over the budget?
I would like to meet in person. It just, to me, it's easier to communicate person to person
I
than,
agree. I'd rather do it in person too.
Are we doing this at 5 or 5:30 or what?
It's whatever time everybody can get there. I mean, I'm just, what time do you want to do it?
The earlier the better for me, just for whatever that's worth.
Well, would 5 or 5:30 be difficult for you, Terry? Vicki?
I can make it work. 5 o'clock is tight, but I can do that.
Well, how does 5:30 work for everybody?
Works for me.
works for me.
Is 5:30 better, Vicki, or would?
Oh,
6?
yeah, it's better for me, but you know, if this is more difficult for Damien, I'll do 5 o'clock, 5:15.
5:30 is fine.
Is 5:30 good?
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be Tuesday at 5:30 to review the tentative budget. I don't have any other matters. Is town board comments?
Yes, I have some, so I'll just get them out of the way for us. I would like to say hello to everyone. Good evening. We are opening up a lot of things this month. There's a lot of activities going on. I just like to mention a few this month. Tally Ho is opening up more and more for people to come into our community, but only like we're having a tag sale this Saturday, 9 to 4. And then the Halloween parade, or not parade, well, it could be a parade by the time it gets, is going to be on Sunday, October 31st, from 2 to 4. You come into the park your cars, and walk to the houses that have a decoration or someone out there to give you your snacks and stuff. No one will be permitted in after 4 o'clock. We're not doing evening anymore because we just think it's really not very safe for everyone to be coming in and doing that. So that's the thing there for us. Also, when you found that leak, Victoria, I just want to make a comment. We had an incident this past early Monday morning with fire trucks from Wasaik and Amenia and EMTs and everyone. One of our homes, their boiler had the leak like you were talking about.
We didn't have a boiler leak.
No, you had the leak. You had the
It
leak.
was an outside tank that had a small leak in it.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was not attached to the building.
Oh, okay. That's good. This
Because
was
we don't have, there's nothing in the building that uses propane.
no. This wasn't propane. This was. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to say. We had the fire company come down there because the home has kerosene, and somehow a little leak started. They don't know where it is, but it was very fortunate fortunate for the person who owned the home is that it was all fireproof in that area, so it was totally contained. And it was done, and the person is still inconvenienced because of smoke and what have you like that. But everyone is alive and well. And I want to make my thanks to the fire companies who came down here. I'd like to say this thank you to all of the fire companies that come here, Dover, Wassaic, Amenia, all of you. On behalf of myself and my family and Tally Ho residents, we want you to know we are grateful and deeply appreciative of the time you spend away from your family and the personal risks you take as a volunteer firefighter to protect us, especially after all you've been through during this coronavirus emergency. So I just want to send my personal thanks out to all of them. We had about 15 vehicles down there, and it lasted a couple of hours. Like I say, thank the Lord they came quickly, and thank the Lord that no one was injured and no buildings or life was lost. So I just want to thank our fire department, our volunteers. So people go out and get your chicken dinner tickets, support your local fire companies. I got my ticket ordered. I got it. I want my chicken. So let me see. Also, I wanted to let you know that someone, okay. Senior trips and stuff. Let me just say this. I'm trying to say this nicely. You know that, Jim, I'm trying to say it nice. Senior trips were cut short this year, not because of what the town board did, but because of coronavirus. We made every attempt when things opened up to get locations to go and trips to go to, but a lot of places, like the gentleman we spoke to before, saying he couldn't get his staff back. A lot of places who would cater to the seniors and groups like us could not get their staff back, could not do things. So we're doing our best, and hopefully next year, 2022. I've got a lot of flyers coming in from a lot of people, so we'll be going on a lot of wonderful trips. But we did make our Lake George trip, which was fantastic. And of course, our Christmas party is coming up for Wednesday, December 8th. It's $50. And you'll notice on the thing, it says does not include tip. In other words, you tip your wait staff yourself. We don't, their policy is no, it's on us. Okay. You make your selection, call me up, let me know if you want it. Call me at 877-9430. I already have over 30 people signed up. And I think maybe most of them are going to be riding the bus, and the bus is like 54 people. So if you want to ride the bus, let me know right away. If you've got a group, where people have been really wonderful. When they call me up, they say, Michelle, we're having a group coming. It's going to be me and my 3 friends, so we need a table for 4 or a table for 6. We want to all sit together. Can you arrange that? And I say, yes, of course we can, because that's the way the business would like to arrange it. So we're going to do that. So basically, everything is good. I hope you got to go to the Wassaic craft fair that they had last weekend. Hope you had to do that. So, and supporting people. And that's all that I have. I don't have any other exciting news. I'm so sorry. I wish I had more.
Is there any other town board comment?
I have something I put in the chat for people to consider. I have a sign outlined for the new skate park and the old basketball court. And I just wanted to make sure everybody was comfortable with the language that I have taken from Christopher May. Took a photograph of park rules down in Poughkeepsie, so I sort of mirrored those and added basketball to it and made it a little bit more covered the things that I know that Chris thought was important.
I spoke to Annette about the sign order today.
Mhm.
And I suggested to her that she do 2 signs, one for basketball rules and one for skateboarding rules.
Okay,
So everything would be crystal clear.
okay,
And then she's also going to work with you on the size of the sign.
okay. So my big question is the final line, which I added myself because I recalled a lot of concern about drugs or unsafe practices or kids not wearing the right, protective gear, whatever it is. So I put questions/concerns and I put the town clerk's phone number. I don't know if that is appropriate or if you want to just leave that off or keep it. But I thought that it would be maybe a good idea to have people reporting unsafe practices or whatever. I don't know.
I mean, if there's something unsafe happening, shouldn't the cops get called instead of?
Well, maybe there's a question, like maybe I don't know. What do you know?
That's fine. And everybody calls town hall. It's appropriate. And then that way we can log it and I can circulate it to the board members as well as rec. It's
I
fine.
think so. I think not everything rises to the level of let's call the cops right
We
now.
can handle it and we can see them right here if it's throughout and we're closest in town. But you use the office number, 125.
Drugs, could be whatever it is that's going on down there. Somebody wants to report it. And Chris said that he would be absolutely prepared to help with whatever skateboarding questions come up. So he's a resource, but I don't want to put his contact information. It should come through the town hall.
So just use the extension 125.
Okay, that's what I have.
Perfect. Because I haven't seen what you're referencing, but that's fine.
It's in the
So
chat.
whatever.
Nikki, I don't see it in the chat. Did you put it in there?
Oh, maybe I didn't hit return. There we
Oh,
go.
there we go.
So, it just covers what Poughkeepsie had said. I talked to Millerton. Millerton said, they really just said skate at your own risk. They didn't go into a lot of details. I talked to the risk manager.
Yeah, Annette actually looked at signs online that Compliance had done. So, you can work with her on that and pick and choose and what you feel is appropriate on the signs when you order.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention is that the third ramp that was purchased with the grant funds is actually there on the court, ready to be assembled. And Chris is going to do that. He's going to weatherproof it and all of that. And I assume he's going to do that as soon as he is able to get to it, since he is working full-time as a teacher now. But I will keep an eye on it. I see that it was delivered and needs to be put together. On the weekends, I water the plants at Fountain Square, and the fountain hasn't been working the last couple of weekends. So I don't know if the guys are busy with the park maintenance.
Well, you know who to contact, so why don't you just contact?
I did, and I CC'd you, but I never hear back. So this is the second week. I don't know what else.
Well, I'll make sure you get a call back.
Okay. The other thing is driving down Mechanic Street. There is that stone wall that lines the sidewalk that we repaired about 10 years ago is broken apart. The pieces are lying around. At some point, we need to fix that faux stone wall.
Well, do you want to get estimates?
You want me just to go to a stonemason and see what we can do?
Just get three estimates to fix it.
Okay.
And then you can present them to the board and we can get it fixed before the weather changes.
I will tell you that there's also bricks missing, obviously, at Fountain Square, and Darlene and I are going to meet, or she's going to contact a brick maker down in Brewster, and we're going to plan to use the money that was in that Fountain Square savings account to pay for new bricks that need families' names engraved. I don't yet know what the cost is per brick,
Okay.
but we'll find that out as well.
Okay.
That's the main meter report. I am just want to make sure I understand what we're doing about the zero read meters. We're continuing on with the process of trying to fix them 2 or 3
Yes.
at a time.
Yes,
Are we reducing the number of zero reads, or they feel like they're
yes,
always
we have.
been about 20, 25? It doesn't seem like that number changes much.
Well, you'll have to check with Nancy because she's the one that runs the report.
Okay,
So call her and talk to her about it.
okay, thanks. That's all I have.
And I'd like to announce that this Saturday is Community Day at the Indian Rock School from 10 to 2. So if they're going to have many vendors, and the Amenia Lions are going to serve hamburgers and hot dogs. And so please go to Community Day. There's going to be a huge raffle and lots of items raffled off, and it'll be a great family day for all. Is there any other town board comment?
I'll just add, given that we spent a lot of time talking about Chris, that he is gotten married today. And congratulations, Chris.
And thanks for all his hard work putting this skateboard project together. That was a lot of work. And we are now complete with our grant. We spent $2,500 with the Bridging Communities grant from Berkshire Taconic, and the ramp he picked out was $2,500. So it was a pretty much a slam dunk, but he had to do a lot of research to find that exact ramp.
Okay. Well, I make a motion to go into consecutive session and excuse the town clerk.
Second,
Okay, the time is now 8:03. Supervisor Prodi,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yeah.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Morris,
yes,
Smoji.
Yes.
I'd like to amend the motion to say contract negotiation with Altice and Kent Hollow litigation.
you need a second on that?
No,
I hear her.
just
Enjoy-
letting the town clerk know.